Okay, welcome back to my 32 and 32, and I'm now going to be focusing on the New York Giants. Coming into last season, I don't think there was as much hope or praise or expectation for this Giants team to succeed, considering the last time they made the postseason was in the 2016-17 season when they had, obviously, Eli Manning under center. Now that Daniel Jones is there, he is their main guy going forward, and now that he's signed that Giants extension, no pun intended, he is now going to be looked at as can he be as successful as Eli and continue to get the Giants into the postseason. So they finished last year at 9-7-1, and I will quickly scroll over to their their streak. So they qualified for the postseason after the Week 17 uh, week. So therefore, the Week 18 game meant nothing. So they lost their last game of the regular season, and then so it didn't affect their standings at all. So when it came to their home and away record, they had 8 games at home and they had 9 games. Sorry, they had 9 games at home and 8 games on the road. So they finished the home with their home record of 5 wins, 3 losses, and the only tie of the season came against the Washington Commanders. And then when it comes to their road record compared to their win and loss ratio, it was split. It was even 4-4 is how their season went. So if you have at least a 500 record or above 500 record when it comes to your home/away games, you have a pretty good chance of getting into the postseason. Now, even though they were successful home and away, when it came to their division games, they really struggled, and it's kind of strange to struggle in the against your division and still make it into the postseason. So therefore, it just goes to show as long as you can beat other teams in other conferences, other divisions, you still have hope of getting into the postseason. So they finished with only 1 win, 4 losses, and 1 tie. So obviously, if you normally have that record against your division foes, chances are you're last in your division or you're uh, very low chance of getting into the postseason. But like I said, they clearly had a better record against other teams in their conference, and so on and so forth. So they. I don't want to say they squeaked into the playoffs because they were the number 6 seed. They did face off against the Minnesota Vikings in what was a huge upset in the wild card round, and then they went on to play their NFC East foes and the Philadelphia Eagles, and they just didn't have a chance against Jalen Hurts and company. So it was a tough loss to say the least, but I believe that there is hope moving forward for the Giants. So as always, just with my last X amount of videos, I'm just going to take a quick little peek at the stats, and then I will make my prediction for this upcoming season right after that. So they had a combination of 3 different guys under center. Trying to make them in focus. So, as I mentioned before, Daniel Jones is their quarterback of the future, and so he finished last season with 3,205 yards. He was 317 for 472. He had 15 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. Then they also had Davis Webb, who's been in the league for 7 years now. He finished with 168 yards, 23 of 40, and a touchdown. And Tyron Taylor, who's been bounced around the league for quite some time, he finished with a grand total of 58 yards, 6 completions out of 8 attempts, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. So going forward, before I go forward, I will just quickly go back to the standings. I was not expecting a phone call, so I do apologize. Okay, I apologize for that interruption. So, coming in. Oh, hold on a second. Stay focused. There we go. There was only one big subtraction that they lost. Julius Love, the safety, he has now taken his talents to the Seattle Seahawks. They added 2 key additions, one on offense and one on defense. Linebacker Bobby Okiri, yes, and he played last year with the Indianapolis Colts. He actually spent the last 4 seasons with the Indianapolis Colts. So maybe now that he's joined the Giants, he can have a little bit of success. Obviously, that Colts franchise is in a bit of a swirl. And so let's see if he has any luck in the state of New York. And then Darren Waller, the tight end. I believe he played with the Raiders, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so he spent 5, the last 5 seasons with the Oakland/Las Vegas Raiders. Still, even though they've been there, even though they have relocated 3 years ago, it's still kind of new to me. I'm so used to calling them the Oakland Raiders, but anyway, that's besides the point. So coming into the 2023-2024 season, I believe there is some optimism when it comes to the Giants, but I don't know if they're like a lock in to get into the playoffs. As I've said previously, if you have a below 500 record against your division, chances are you're not going to make the playoffs. Like I said, they just had success against other teams in other divisions, and so that's why they were able to sneak into the postseason last year. I believe that when it comes to the NFC East, you have the Philadelphia Eagles and Dallas Cowboys. They're pretty much locked to get into the playoffs. And after that, it's just question marks. So if you look at the NFC North, I believe the Vikings should get in, should win their division, but I will preview them when I get to there. So you have the Vikings, and then after that, maybe the Detroit Lions. They're finally a little overdue to get into the postseason. So that could be 2 potential teams there getting locked in as a playoff position. When it comes to the Packers and Bears, I'm not totally sold on any of those franchises. I don't know if they're guaranteed to get in. Again, any team could kind of surprise us going forward. And then when it comes to the NFC West, I believe the 49ers have that division locked down. And then after that, maybe the Seahawks get in again. If the Rams can stay healthy and consistent, maybe they can get into the postseason. And then the NFC South is just, who knows what's going on with that division. You could have one team completely dominate. You could have 2 or 3 teams completely dominate. I have no idea, because now that we have 3 wildcard teams, you could have one division get every single team into the postseason. So anything can happen on any given Sunday, Thursday, whatever else, Monday, I guess, when it comes to the playoffs. But for the Giants, this is one team I can't say, okay, I think they for sure will get in. It's because there's so many other teams in that conference that could easily leap ahead of them in the division. I believe they should be at least a 9-win team, potentially a 10-win team. But again, if you're playing poorly against your division, you're probably not going to have that much success, especially if you lose 4 or 5 games against your division foes. Thank you all for tuning in, as always, and until next time, take care.